Right, if you watch the Austrian Grand Prix, you know what I'm going to be talking about. This isn't a race review. This is simply covering the Norris versus Verstappen incident. Who's at fault? What could have been done differently? And trying to analyse it, pick things out of it, and come up with my own opinion. I've looked around, see what other people think, try to find someone who's actually sided Verstappen. So obviously, throughout Verstappen's career, we do know he's been a bit crazy when it comes to defending. No, overtaking, he's better with that. Now I can think of multiple instances to my head. Say 2016, the big one, Hungary, Belgium, Jeddah against Lewis Hamilton. Basically, well, I wouldn't say most of the year, but Jeddah was a big one, especially. Baku, 2018, with his teammate Ricciardo, moving under braking, this sort of thing where he's defending. It's usually when he's defending against another driver is when these problems occur. So it's not like seeing Verstappen doing this sort of stuff is a new thing. Well, Norris, I can't really think of anything negative. Oh, look at it, he's British, boy, so he's got Mercedes top on. Yeah, say what you want in the comments, I don't give a shit. Like, I couldn't care less what you actually say unless it's a constructive, valid opinion. You know, these Verstappen gatekeepers who think, oh, he's perfect, he's the GOAT, he's the greatest of all time, all this, all that, oh, he's the best, Super Max. It's a bit cringe, to be honest, these guys just gatekeeping Verstappen because like no driver's perfect. Lewis Hamilton has had crashes, Senna have had crashes, Prost has had crashes, all the greats in Formula 1 have had their controversies. Their biggest weakness, and I think this is just what Verstappen's weakness is, his racecraft. Of course, Verstappen himself won't give a shit like making this video, like he wouldn't probably even know. It's the gatekeepers. I'm not going to say his fans, because obviously some of his fans can be great people and actual great people who watch the sport as well as alongside me and actually can respect one another. So I'm going to say these gatekeepers who just think he's perfect, the GOAT. Those sort of guys. Verstappen had a 7-second lead before he came in for his pit stop, and Norris came in the exact same lap. And as we know, Verstappen had a slow pit stop and was also on a scrub set of tyres compared to Norris, who had a clean stop with a brand new fresh set of mediums, shiny as hell. So there's already an advantage there for Norris. He's gained 5 seconds in a pit stop. Fresher tyres would just give him a little bit of an oomph. Probably about a few tenths a lap. And on lap 55, Norris is right behind Verstappen. You know, he goes for a very ambitious, it was a bit of a crazy one at the time. Norris did go for an ambitious dive on Verstappen, but then immediately Verstappen swipes across his line. Norris is going here, Verstappen's on the outside, Norris goes for the inside, and Verstappen blocks over his line, which is completely unnecessary because it's just completely done. It could have been a perfect dive and we don't know if it would have made it or not because Norris had to really back out of that, otherwise he would have gone straight back into it. It would have been a Baku repeat essentially. But in fairness, they both did make the corner, so it's not like if Norris did go for the inside and Verstappen didn't move across, he probably would have made the overtake stick. All on Verstappen here at the moment. And lap 59 is when Norris went for his second dive bomb, and Verstappen, you know, he stays, in fairness, he does stay somewhat the same. He does move over a tiny bit on the braking. You could argue that as soon as he gets on the brakes, he moves over a little bit. So I'd say I let him get away with it at this time. Yeah, and I think the reason why he doesn't move over so much dramatically, say, at lap 55, is because Norris is really coming in with this one. He's broken way too late. And you can see that Norris and Verstappen have got about car's width between them, you know, so they're not exactly near each other here. Norris looks up, goes completely off the track, and actually overtakes him off the track, but gives the position back into turn 4, so nothing wrong there. I think that was pretty decent this lap. Lap 59 was pretty good racing, I'd say. Despite Norris actually going for a really big send, this was like a pretty poor send. It was poorly calculated from Norris, I'd say. It was just too deep in the corner, too tight on the inside, and so broke himself, but nothing came off of it. You know, it passed him off track, but then gave position back, so nothing wrong with it. The next attempt from Norris took a few laps, but lap 63 is when he went for it, send him on down on the inside, perfectly calculated this time around. It didn't overshoot it, stayed on the track, even pushed Verstappen off, and you could argue it's clearer than, say, Verstappen's pass on Leclerc in 2019, as they didn't make any contact. And Max, he doesn't move under braking it. I can't really see him moving under braking it. It might be very slight, but he knows it's going to be a similar thing to, say, previous on lap 59, where he's just going to send one down the inside of Norris. So Max leaves the room. Norris is quite tight, but he just about gets the car stopped. Norris is on the edge of the track, so Verstappen has nowhere to go, so we have to go on a runoff. But Verstappen stays in a lead, which I think is fair enough. Obviously, Norris was quite tight into the hairpin on the apex and did lock up a little bit, so he couldn't really get on the path very easily, as it wasn't carrying a lot of momentum either. So Verstappen just went around like a longer way and still had the momentum, so just about stayed ahead. This was brilliant. I loved this. This was like lap 63 was the perfect. This was like brilliant racing. I loved this. Nothing wrong with it. It was hard You know, like they were going rough with each other. They could have had a bit of wheel banging. That would have been great. I think anything beyond that would have been too much. So obviously now, Verstappen knows what Norris is going to do. He's going to send one at the inside. He's done it a good few times now. He's expecting it. So he moves over to the sort of middle of the track to cover off that dive bomb before Norris even has the chance to go for it. So Norris thinks, all right, mate, I'm just going to go around the outside of you. Okay, this is good. This is brilliant because it's something Verstappen's adapting to Norris's tactics. But then Verstappen moves over, and of course the rules say you're meant to leave a car's length to say if you're offended on the inside, you're meant to leave the car length to the outside to obviously let that car go through, you know, let that car actually stay in the battle, you know, and not take them out. And this is where it gets rather complicated, because to say defend Verstappen fans or someone who thinks Verstappen is fine or Verstappen's one of you could say, yeah, he could have gone onto the curb because it is just a curb and a concrete runoff. So he could have gone off the track. Norris could have gone off the track theoretically. But of course, the white line is still off the track. In actuality, he shouldn't actually be off the track at all. He should stay on the track. He should not be on that white line or on that curb at all. But this is the thing that really, I think, makes it clear cut. Verstappen chooses the middle of the track. Fine. But as he jumps on the brakes, he moves across on Lando still to the outside of the track, makes contact. Norris probably wasn't expecting that. That's where I think it's 100% Verstappen's fault. All the other incidents, all the other attempts, passes by Norris do not matter. This is the one that actually matters because this is the one that had the big consequence on the race. Verstappen picks his line, middle of the track, sure, Norris go to the left, fine. If Verstappen kept in the middle, well, he probably would have lost position because Norris would have found the switchback or had better drive coming up the hairpin and probably would have got him a slam dunk pass into turn 4. But no, Verstappen did move across and obviously made contact with Norris, didn't give him a car's length, and was rewarded a penalty. And yeah, fair so as well. Like, that's fair enough. And he was rewarded 2 penalty points as well. I saw a little article about that. I think that is a correct decision to say punish Verstappen for it because he did move across. He is moving under braking. He is doing all sorts of things. Like lap 63 even. That is the perfect racing. If you look at that, everything about that is perfect. And no one did anything wrong. It was just harder racing. And of course, they both ended up with punctures. Verstappen finished 5th. Norris didn't even finish at all. It seems like Norris had the better situation, but then till his tyre just ripped his car apart, and Verstappen kept it cruising because he got a puncture quite early, and it did stay somewhat on the rim, his tyre. And there's one thing I want to note. If you think Verstappen pushed Norris off the track afterwards, I think you're a bit crazy because Verstappen has a puncture. He doesn't have control of his car. At this point, Norris probably doesn't think he has a puncture. So he's just trying to get around past him somehow. Verstappen's trying to move off the racing line, and it's just the way Norris happened to pick. I think that's all that is. You know, if the racing line is somewhat, if you look at the track, as you go on the exit of turn 4, you're up against this curb on the left-hand side, and you do stay on that side of the track and do drift over into the middle of the track as the straight is a bit of a curvy one. So Verstappen was nowhere near the racing line. It wasn't deliberate. He was just trying to get out of the way, as he didn't know what damage Norris had or other cars around him. So yeah, it's good on Verstappen for that, I'd say. I think Norris was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I don't think there's any foul play or Verstappen pushed Norris off there, like, deliberately. I don't think there's anything like that. So as a whole, Verstappen is at fault. He does deserve the penalty and the penalty points. He still came out as a better driver in this anyway, so I don't know what you can really complain about here. And it's 10 points versus 0 for Norris, you know. See, he still won technically against him. It's like a thing though with Verstappen. It's whenever he has a driver behind him where he knows they're quicker, he does some erratic defending. It's not just the other driver thing. I think it is a Verstappen thing. It's like a Senna mentality in a way. You know, it's like he's saying to his opponent, "I'm going here, mate. If you're going to go there as well, all right, we're fine. We're going to crash." It's exactly like that, and this all makes great drivers because they create this reputation for themselves to say, I am better than you. If you want to go in that place where you want to try and pass me, then we're both just gonna crash. This is what makes the greats the greats. His defense, his racecraft, his race ability. Because you can see you could say like Sky Sports biased, British bias or whatever, to say Lando Norris or whatever. But you can watch Anthony Davison's analysis on it. You can mute it if you want, if you don't want to hear what he's saying. You can see that Verstappen is at fault and does do the wrong things. But either way, it was brilliant racing and great to watch, you know, and has really, I think, is like the spark that we needed to set Formula 1 alight. You know, we're going to have a great rivalry now. It's like I think it could turn into a Hamilton-Rosberg type thing. I think they will fall out over this, or it progressively get worse and worse, I think, as, say, McLaren catch up. And if Red Bull begin to make mistakes or something, I don't know. But yeah, Verstappen isn't invincible anymore, so it's going to be really exciting from now. But this is my opinion on this whole incident, this whole craziness. But yeah, if you did enjoy, subscribe, like, comment, tell me what you think. And that's all I've got to say, man. Have a good day. Bye-bye.